the homeless animal crisis plaguing our communities. Stray dogs and cats overpopulate our streets and shelters to the point it's become a public health concern. While there are many different solutions, it starts with being responsible human beings, accountable pet ownership, spay and neuter, vaccination, and microchipping. This weekend, Houston PetSet is hosting a free community microchip and vaccine event in Sugar Land. The hope is to treat more than 800 owned pets from around Houston. Lisa Tynan with Houston PetSet is here to talk about the effort and how you can take advantage of the opportunity. Good morning.
Good morning.
No stranger to this show, so we appreciate you coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Having this conversation with us. Talk about where things stand since we last spoke. I feel like we talk almost every day.
All the time.
But since we last had you here in studio, talk to us about what this crisis looks like today compared to what it was a few months ago.
You know, we keep saying the crisis is the worst that it's ever been, but we're also more hopeful than we've ever been. And really, one of the main reasons for that is that we have a new mayoral administration and we have new leadership in Bark. But as we all know, politics take time, and changing over administrations is not going to be some instant fix. But we have really at Houston PetSet been focusing on listening right now and hearing from our partners. We have well over 100 partners who are either nonprofit or municipal animal shelter partners who talk to us about their concerns. And really what everyone is saying is they're full. They're full. They need help. They need funding. They need staffing. So we're very, very hopeful that our local administration and even, county and state will recognize this need and dedicate more overall funding. And once we have funding, then we can hire enough people to address the problem on the streets.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up this issue being a political one. It is. Like most issues, this is something that has been politicized over the years, but it also starts at a nuclear level, the solutions, that is. It starts with you and me being responsible pet ownerships and having conversations like this. So when you talk about being hopeful and being more successful than we have in the past, I think it's helpful to have these conversations. These conversations contribute to that success.
100%. And one of the reasons we are feeling very hopeful is, for the past almost 2 years now, Houston PetSet has been hosting these free community events. And what we are finding is when we offer them, people show up. They want so badly to be responsible pet owners. It's expensive to own a pet
there are
these
barriers.
days. Absolutely. If you live in some under-resourced neighborhoods, you don't necessarily have a vet within driving distance. If you have a big pet, you can't take them on public transportation to get to the vet. So what we're trying to do is bring these opportunities into the communities where they need them most. And our most recent event that we hosted in Sunnyside, we had 830 pets that we vaccinated and microchipped, all in about 4 hours.
That's incredible.
So we're hopeful that this event that we're having in Sugar Land is going to have the same, if not better, results.
Speaking to that need, showing that access is one of the barriers, including financial reasons as well. So talk to us. This is a free event, no charge to families. How many animals can each family bring? What do they need to know going into this event?
We make it very, very simple. We don't have any location restrictions, even though we're hosting it in Sugar Land. You don't have to live there. We've had people drive in from, an hour out to attend these events because they are free. We do want to serve as many families as possible, so we do limit it to 5 pets per family, but that's dogs or cats. You can bring a mix of both if you have them, and we will treat them. Like you said, there is no charge, and each pet will receive their rabies vaccination, and a cat will get their DHPP, vaccine, which is their required core vaccination, and cats will get FVRCP, which is their required core vaccination. If you put them into boarding or things like that, they need those. And then if they're not already microchipped, we do provide that microchip for free. It's a free lifetime registration, and we register for the owner. So sometimes you get an email saying, oh, your registration's about to run out. No, this is lifetime. You don't have to worry about it once it's implanted, and we'll make sure you have all your up-to-date information registered to your pet.
No need to panic. When and where is this happening?
It's going to be at the T.E. Harmon Senior Center in Sugar Land, and our appointments start pretty darn early, right around 7 or 7:30. It is by appointment only, and we do that because we order the right amount of vaccines for the pets that are coming, and because we have people come for appointments at specific times. And that eliminates the need for people to show up and sit in their cars and wait until they get an opportunity. So unfortunately, that means, you have to make an appointment. You can't just walk in, but we still have plenty of appointments available. You can find the registration information on our Facebook, on our Instagram. Everything is at Houston PetSet and then HoustonPetSet.org.
That's all good information to know. And again, if you can't make this weekend's event, know that this is an ongoing effort.
Absolutely.
There will be more throughout the year.
Yes, we do them quarterly. Sometimes we do if we have an opportunity. If somebody wants to sponsor an event in their neighborhood, we will do pop-up events as well. But these large-scale events happen 4 times a year.
Responsible journalism starts with presenting solutions to the problems that we cover.
Absolutely.
Ways people can get involved to help manage this crisis.
Oh boy, we keep talking about the fact that there are so many different entry levels for people to get involved. You don't have to be the person on the streets rescuing the animals. You can still make a big impact. Donate if you can. Even $5 a month is huge. We always recommend that you donate and give locally. There are lots of national organizations who are doing good work, but you can make sure that your dollars are impacting your neighborhoods if you donate to your local organizations. Volunteering is so important, getting these animals out of their kennels that are in shelters, out into the community, learning how to be household pets. And then, of course, if you have a spare bathroom, if you have a mud room someplace that you can have a litter of kittens or a litter of puppies, they're so much fun to take care of. It's temporary.
Right.
You don't have to keep them forever if you foster them. If they start to be a little bit too much to handle, you can always bring them back to find their adoptive homes. I've been doing this for almost 15 years, and I will tell you that the biggest need we have, especially in the spring, is for people to open their homes to fosters, because that allows our animal control officers to bring more animals off of the streets so that they can be safe and find new homes.
And I want to mention too, when you do foster, if you choose to foster, there's no financial cost, no financial burden to you.
Correct.
So that is something definitely to explore, especially too if you're thinking about opening up your home or your heart to a pet and you just don't know if it's right. Go with fostering before adopting to see if this is something that you're ready for.
Absolutely. And what you may find is you become, like so many of us, a foster failure. And then you end up with one of them as your pet. But what that means is that you know that animal and you know that they're the right fit for your family. But there really is no obligation to keep them, and reputable organizations will provide you with everything that you need. You just need the space and the time and the love.
Yeah. Lisa, if there was something you could say to the critic in the back of the room that says this problem doesn't impact me, the overcrowding, the overpopulation of stray animals on our streets, in our shelters, that doesn't impact me. What would you say to them?
Let me pull up my little soapbox and climb on that first. It impacts everybody. You mentioned it in your introduction that this has now reached critical crisis mode. This is a public health and a public safety issue. This is an economic development issue. When, if you live in the type of neighborhood, if you're fortunate enough to not have stray animals around you, that's wonderful. The company you work for might be trying to hire people to come into our city, and if the places that they want to put their new employees have a stray dog problem, they're not going to be able to attract anybody to come here. We're about to host, the World Cup coming up in a couple of years.
Several events.
Several massive events. And we're going to have the eye, not just of the city or the state, but of the world on our city. And if people are afraid to leave their homes because there are roving packs of dogs, if there is a sanitation issue because of feral cat colonies that are unmanaged and out of control, this impacts everybody. Even if you don't have a pet and you don't particularly care for animals, the streets are the streets of our community, and we all have to do our part.
Yeah, and too often we're only doing our part when it comes to this, when it becomes a problem, when it becomes a threat, a direct threat, or an obvious threat. So it's good to have these conversations, knowing that this problem exists, whether we're talking about it or not. We appreciate you coming in. Thank you, as always.